No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
Something is about to break.
Happy Wednesday, friends. Welcome back to the About to Break podcast. How's your new year going? How's the start of it? You feeling good? You feeling excited? I'm very excited. I feel like this is going to be a great year for all of us. I really do. I feel like things are headed up all around. And even though sometimes you look at the news and you go, what in the world is going on in the world? I think that artists and creative individuals are crucial to our survival at this point. And so thank you for the work that you do. Keep pushing forward. It's going to be an amazing year for you. Okay, enough of my fortune cookie like excitement. I had to say that. This week on the show, I'm so excited to have Joey Howell. Joey is a good friend that I met randomly. I love the part of this business that you get to work with beautiful, amazing people, and that if you're just present and connect with people, that you can have long-lasting relationships. And I really do feel that Joey's going to be one of those dudes. Like, man, how is that for putting that out there on the podcast for everyone to hear? Anyway, Joey, you're the best, dude. Thanks for doing the show. You guys are going to love him. He's a director. He just produced and created this amazing documentary called Boys with Bigger Hearts about Hunter syndrome. About 2,000 people in the world are affected by it. And he's had a couple people in his family who have gone through life with Hunter syndrome. And we talk all about that. And it's a great conversation. You're going to love it. If you haven't had a chance recently to check out our Patreon page, I'd encourage you to go do that. I want to thank all of the producers of the show who are making it possible for us to put these episodes out for free. Thank you to everyone who's been teaming up with us over on Patreon. And for doing that, you get some goodies. You get some bonus content. And you get some things that not everyone gets here. Right now, I'm doing a special offer. Anybody who gives $5 or more a month on Patreon is going to get a shipped copy of my DVD signed. So you can get one of those. All you got to do is go on patreon.com/about-to-break. Check out the different perks there and see some of the cool content we're putting on. Every Monday, I'm releasing content just for artists and entertainers. This week, I put out a video about travel tips that I think is really, really cool. And I think you're going to enjoy just some of my tips from the road. Last week, I did a video on just getting stuff done. You know, when you've got a to-do list that's long, how do you really knock it out? And these are short videos that I've been encouraged by these things, and so I want to pass them on. A lot of it is not stuff I came up with. It's things that, as I've talked with these different artists and entertainers as we're approaching 100 episodes, just kind of compiling some of those thoughts that have been helpful as I've applied them, and I know you're going to love them. So check that out. Go over to Patreon. If you've got a story, we'd love to hear it. If there's a breaking moment in your life, either something you feel like, man, I had a real big success and you want us to celebrate with you, or maybe there's a moment where you just have a question for another artist or entertainer about a certain area that's been frustrating. Maybe you feel like you've been hitting a wall. What's your breaking point? Give us a call on the break line at 323-524-7456. Again, that's 323-524-7456. Leave us a message and let us know if you want to be included on the show. We would love to work together to kind of help each other out. That's what this whole thing is about. Solidarity for the journey, not trying to go it alone. And that is really a good theme with which to lead into this episode, because Joey Howell has done an amazing job supporting this cause that was very under promoted. Not a lot of attention for this. And we talk about that, and he really put in the time and the effort because he knows it's going to make a huge difference. So sit back, relax, and enjoy episode 98 of the About to Break podcast, my conversation with director Joey Howell. Hey everybody, welcome to About to Break. I'm your host Taylor, and right now I'm sitting, I want to say sunny. It's not sunny here at all. It's gloomy and rainy.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
We're in Palm Springs, and I'm sitting down with my buddy Joey Howell.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Dude, thanks for doing this, man. We hung recently in Scottsdale.
Yes.
Another place known for hot and
exactly.
Lots of swimming pools.
Uh-huh.
And we went in the jacuzzi at like 1 o'clock in the morning or something.
We did, yeah. Listening to music and enjoying the resort.
Yes, it was
very
It
nice.
was lovely, man. And then I was like, dude, we should do a podcast. And you hit me up, said, I'm coming to Palm Springs. And I said, I will meet you there. And here we are.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm here.
Welcome.
You're here.
Or
Thanks, man.
Or maybe you should say welcome since we're in your hotel room.
Welcome to my hotel room in gloomy Palm Springs overlooking this golf course.
Do you golf?
I have.
Yeah.
I'd say my dad actually used to take me. We would do 9 holes and we were both awful. And he liked playing, so I used to.
Yeah,
but
okay.
I do have a set of clubs, but I haven't golfed in years and I'm not great.
Yeah.
I've done like Top Golf and stuff. you
Okay,
know?
yeah,
It's
that's
like
fun.
bowling
Yeah.
for golf.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I don't bowling for golf. That's a great way to look at it. Yeah.
Like anyone can do it.
You mean
but-
okay? I'll golf if I don't have to walk and you bring me beer.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah,
Perfect.
these resorts are so funny because so many of them that we end up at these events are based around people wanting to go golf
Yeah.
in a nice hotel.
Totally. Well, exactly. Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't do the golf thing, man. I can't.
I've never really gotten into it. I mean, it's nice to be out on land and whatnot, I guess, and
Yeah.
riding around in a cart.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's fine.
I think there should be a place for guys like us that just let you rent golf carts.
Exactly. Oh,
Because that's my favorite part. Is I would drive that golf cart all day. Take the regulator off. Let me see what this baby can do.
that sounds like a blast. Just have like a course, almost
Yeah.
like those dirt bike tracks,
Like
but they're for golf carts.
Yeah,
And
like Mario Kart for real life.
exactly.
That would be amazing.
There you go.
Everyone
There's probably a
gets
few liability things.
3
in there,
tortoise
but-
shells you can throw out the back.
Yeah.
Oh my
be
gosh,
fun.
man! So we've been hanging out for a while today. We had lunch.
Mhm.
You introduced me to a beet burger,
Yeah. We had
which
beef
I didn't
burgers.
know was a
And a
thing.
beer. Yeah. Doing the no meat, you explore other options.
Yeah.
And the beet burger, I've learned recently,
Yeah.
is wonderful. And it's beets are very good for you.
See, we've been doing no meat. Katie and I no meat
Mhm.
since July.
Mm-hmm.
We still do fish, but I never tasted the beet burger, and I imagined it was just going to be. And maybe I'm thinking maybe I don't. Joey, here's the moral of the story. Maybe I don't know what a beet is because I had assumed it was like almost like a large tomato-looking slice of something that was,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
when
Oh,
you,
yeah.
when you
Yeah.
open
It is.
cranberries and they're in the can,
Yep.
and you cut a slice.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be what the beet
Thought
burger
it was just going to
like.
be a patty of
No.
red something from a can.
Yeah.
And like some lettuce.
But this was a nice
It was a
purpley
patty,
pink
like
patty.
yep,
Of,
seasoned and smashed together with other
oh, it
things.
was very good.
I love a good beet burger. Yeah.
It's great.
It's a good place.
Now I'm going to be hunting for them. This was the only place I've ever seen them.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that's like the second or third one I've had now.
Really? On the
little
road
bit.
or back at home?
on the road? I don't
Okay.
think I've had one back at home. I
Yeah.
should learn how to make them though. I'm working on the cooking thing.
What do you-
Never grew up cooking, so I'm thinking about getting into it.
I think you said I'm working on it. I'm considering the possibility
I bought a cookbook
Okay.
and I've made a meal.
What was the cookbook? I want to know which celebrity
Oh,
chef
yeah.
sold you
This is
on the desire to cook.
not even it's a cookbook for low sodium diet.
How old are we?
Exactly.
We're not that old.
That's why I feel weird talking about it. I've got high blood pressure, man.
No red meat. Low sodium.
So-
oh my God. It goes great with a bowl of grape nuts.
Yep, exactly.
So which is this? This is not a celebrity chef cookbook. This is just a anti-Morton salt cookbook.
Yes, somebody, I can't remember his name. It was a guy I found his stuff somewhere, and he created this low sodium.
The low sodium cookbook, just another cookbook, but they took off salt on all the ingredients.
Exactly. Basically, it's just food with no flavor.
Oh my gosh. Sad, man. Getting older sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that old, but
You're not.
I feel like with the way I go about things. Yeah, maybe I'm
How old are you?
33
33
and a half.
Man. 33 and a half.
Yeah,
You've outlived Jesus by half. Wasn't he? Wasn't
right.
Jesus?
I feel like he was 33 and a half. Or no?
Oh,
how
I
old?
don't know.
I don't know. How
I
old
thought
he
it was. We're going based off a calendar. We don't know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. It's all a construct. The calendars are just
Right now, someone's going, I thought this was an entertainment podcast.
I know.
So what was the first meal you made out of the low sodium cookbook?
So I'm reading the low sodium cookbook.
Like a manual. You're like, I can't turn on the air fryer till I get through the last
Exactly.
thing.
No, I'm reading the beginning of it. I've gotten through, a lot of the reasoning behind the low sodium.
Okay.
And I actually made the meal I made recently was from a cookbook I got at the library. And it was like a breaded chicken and corn salad thing. Oh. And I feel like it turned out really good.
That's really good for your first recipe, man.
Yeah. So I just didn't grow up cooking. My mom wasn't really into it. I've never been into it, but I feel like I should, I could get into it. I could maybe,
I do imagine you on the road, like at some Red Roof Inn, and you're sitting eating like 3 McDonald's hamburgers while you read this low sodium.
Exactly. Once I get through it, I'm going to start the low sodium diet.
Right. I'm so notorious for being like I always start diets right after a massive meal. I'm always like, that's it. Now I'm on a diet.
My heart hurts. I need to eat differently.
It feels like my food's giving my heart a hug. Oh my gosh. I'm trying now and when I say I'm trying, this is the second day. Mm-hmm. First day went great. No. But the like where you intermittent fasting, they call it. Where you only eat during certain hours a day.
Right. Isn't that kind of the keto diet?
I don't know.
Have you heard of that?
Well,
I don't know.
No, because then I thought keto was you just ate like a lot of meat.
Maybe. No, that's I feel like that's
Atkins.
another one. Yes.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know. Keep going.
I don't know, man. This one you're supposed to just like take a break. You just like the whole thing is like, hey, just don't eat a lot. Like you don't eat you only eat during like 8 hours a day.
Oh, okay. So like from when you wake up till
so like I'm not eating till 11 o'clock.
Oh.
And then I don't eat after 7 o'clock.
Okay. Oh, you eat breakfast,
I mean?
or you eat your first meal after 11.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
just don't eat the first meal.
I gotcha. How's it working out so far? You're 2 days in?
For those of you, since this is an audio format, Joey is incredibly fit and good looking, and then I'm over here chubs galore. So I should not be giving the advice on what to eat and or not.
Hey man, we're all trying. That's we're just doing our best.
Oh, it does seem like people who talk the most about weight loss or food are the ones who never cared about any of it. Uh-huh. And then once they get on the train, that's like all they'll talk about.
I know.
It's a dangerous.
I sometimes feel like that I talk about it too much. So we can change the subject.
Oh my goodness. We just came out of Thanksgiving.
Yep. Yeah.
Both of us. And you guys did a big family reunion.
Yes. Had some family in town. Happened a couple of years ago as well. And it was a family reunion over Thanksgiving.
When you were a kid, was family reunion like a thing you guys regularly did?
We did get together a lot, but man, I feel like these started happening, I don't know, in the last like maybe 10 years or so. Okay. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But we make it to some of them, the ones that happen where they come to us. It's a lot easier because we have 3 kids and we own businesses and things. So it's just busy. So every other year, like recently in the last 4 years, we've gone somewhere with the family, or they've gone somewhere. We've been around when they come to Colorado, which is where we're from. So
very nice, man. Is the snow in there right now? You get the
snow? I don't think so.
You get the snow yet?
Yeah, we've gotten some of the snow, but it's not. I don't know. Right now, I don't know the weather. I've been here in Palm Springs for a few days.
Do you guys, because Colorado, known for snow, people go there for the sport.
Yeah.
Do you deal with snow where it's like a pain? Like you having a shovel and stuff in Colorado?
Oh God, yeah. So we bought a house on a cul-de-sac that faces north, or our house faces north, and that means if you're from LA, you might not, understand, but that means that your snow doesn't melt.
What? Because the sun.
The sun our
I thought it was I thought you were going to get into like it's a feng shui thing or something.
The snow on our driveway
does
not melt. So the neighbors, we face directly north.
Did you not know this when you bought the house?
No, actually we did, but we liked the house so much.
We really like the house. I don't mind shoveling.
And it was like, in the right location. Everything was good except for the north facing, and we're dealing with it. But you like all of our neighbors' driveways, like in Colorado, the weather is like crazy enough to where, later in the day after it snows, it could be all gone.
Okay.
Sometimes, like it'd be really cold in the morning and snow, and then by the end of the day, it's gone. But our driveway
not if your driveway
icy.
faces north.
Yeah. All of our neighbors have, it's melted, and ours is still icy.
See, it's good. You saved all that sodium out of your diet. You just dump it on the sidewalk. Just take all that salt, put it on the driveway. Is that the low sodium cookbook? Step number 1, dump the salt on the driveway. Step number 2, eat the bland chicken. Oh my gosh. So how often are you having to like shovel and stuff?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, every time it snows, but
that
I
sounds
travel.
Awful.
I actually, because I travel for work a lot, when I first started doing that, and we had a driveway, this was like 5 years ago. I felt so bad for my wife. I bought a snowblower like off Craigslist because I was like, I feel so bad. I'm going to be gone, and you have to sit with kids. You got to shovel.
I feel so much better now leaving my wife in California.
Yeah, exactly. I should move to a place where it doesn't snow as much.
No, that is the thing, man. When you travel a lot and you're on the road, there's always, we were talking about this earlier today. It's one of those things where you get a phone call and it's like, oh, something's happening and I'm 1,000 miles away.
It feels like that stuff always happens when you're gone.
Yes.
I've had this conversation with my buddies that I work with, and it's interesting. It's some phenomenon.
Yeah.
Everything goes wrong when you're gone.
Right.
But it's definitely, it adds to the how hard it is to like balance it all, for sure.
Oh yeah.
So
we replaced what was the last one? A hot water heater. That was the last emergency we had.
That happened to me when I was on the road too. Geez. I swear this was like, I don't remember how long ago it was, but man, it's crazy how that happens.
Yeah, we had that. We had a
Were you on the road when it happened?
I think no, it happened the day before I was supposed to fly out at like 5 o'clock in the morning. And it happened at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh.
So it was literally like, okay, stop everything.
Yeah. Spending
I didn't
the time until I get on the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh. See, but we're lucky these days because we have YouTube. I think it's easier to be a homeowner when you have YouTube.
Oh yeah, definitely. I look up how to turn my sprinklers on every year. I never remember. I look it up on YouTube.
Oh, because you have to totally like drain them and stuff, or how do you do that?
Yeah, because of the snow. I forget these.
Welcome to Colorado tips.
You have to blow out your sprinklers every...
Like blow air out? I didn't know this was a thing.
If you let the... Wow, yeah, see, this we're educating people. If you live in a cold weather climate, in the winter, you have to, or in the fall, you have to blow your sprinklers out. Otherwise, the water will sit in the tubes underground, and it will freeze, and it will burst the pipes.
Wow, man.
And then you have to dig up the pipes and replace them and whatnot. So
it's like living in a motorhome.
Basically once a year.
Just clean that thing out. Gotta leave it nice and empty.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Did you replace the water heater yourself? I'm curious.
I did.
Wow.
I did.
Nice job.
Thanks,
That's
man.
not an easy task.
It was one of those things. First of all, you don't know how heavy a full water heater is.
Right.
Our hot water heater was 22 years old. They're supposed to last like 4 or 5 years. And you're supposed to every year flush them. These are things people know.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know it. You know who else didn't know it? The guy who lived in the house 22 years before we bought it. Because it was so full of sediment and heavy that I almost killed myself trying to carry. I had to carry it down the stairs and yeah.
Wow. You did that all yourself? Did you use a dolly? Or?
My wife was there and she was trying to help, and she's very good about like, she'll get right in there. She's not messing around. But I was so scared it was going to fall on somebody. I'm like, I got it. It was. But then this was my big proud moment. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
We had a 40-gallon water heater. And then I got a 50-gallon water heater.
Oh, man.
And I'll tell you what, man, as awful,
that's a big deal.
As much of a pain in the ass that whole experience was, I was so excited to have 10 more gallons of hot water.
How many people do you have in your family?
There's 4 of us, but I'm the only guy.
Okay.
And I've got 2 young daughters, 10 and 13, that take incredibly long showers. They are not helping with the drought in California.
I have a 10-year-old daughter, and I guess
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, it's
Long.
like they'll be in there like this is probably bad. Whatever, we'll deal with it. We'll become better people, guys. But they'll be in there like 20 minutes, and then we'll be like, "All right, time to finish up." And they'll be like, "I just got in." I'm like, "What have you been doing for 20?" There's singing going on, and there's a play happening, and they're just by themselves for 20 minutes.
I haven't even gotten in the shower.
And then you go, how's that possible? And then as soon as they go to bed, you take like a 20-minute shower, just like, I'm so exhausted. I must decompress.
Oh man.
Oh my goodness. How did you and your wife meet? I'm just going to ask you all these questions I haven't asked you yet
That's great.
in our new friendship.
I love it. Human connection. We were just talking about that.
We were talking about the importance of connection. It's so huge.
It is. We met. Did you say where?
Yeah, how?
How?
I said how, but that
We met
involves where.
in junior high school.
That's amazing.
At church.
That's amazing. You met at junior high school.
We didn't go to the same school, but yes, we were.
You started dating then in junior high?
No. We just became really good friends and
that's cool.
hung out a lot. And then
This is that season when you have like, there's like a group that you hang out with, and you're both part of that group.
Exactly.
And then one by one, they start pairing off.
Yep. It was, well, I mean, there's, her and her best friend were, they both, it was told to me through the grapevine. They liked me, as you say.
They both did.
Yep. So,
why did
eventually
they both told you?
They wanted to, yeah. It was
like
a decision to be made, basically.
Choose wisely.
It's one or the other.
Give you this Morpheus moment. Pick one.
Yep. Anyways, no, eventually we, just got closer and closer. In high school, we started dating the summer going into, I guess it was right after junior high, summer going into our freshman year. I think it was. Details are foggy, but then we broke up for a while.
Oh, really?
This is all, we're like 14, right?
Yeah. What was the big blow up? What led to the...
I think she wanted to explore her options.
She's like, hold on, I was giving you the option, but I didn't realize I had some.
Basically, there was another guy. It was fine.
Oh, jeez.
Anyways, we ended up, getting back together.
Yeah.
In sophomore year of high school, and we have been together ever since.
That's fantastic, man.
High school sweethearts.
How long married?
We've been married. It'll be 14 years in January.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. We got married young.
That's crazy. Yeah, us too. We got married when we were 12.
As you do in the church.
Yeah. No, we got married. It's amazing.
You can cut that out.
No, I'm going to leave it in. The people who listen to this know I have some church trauma. We started dating 15 and 16. And then we got married 21 and 22.
Wow.
We've been married 16 years now.
Oh, yeah, that's super similar.
Yeah.
I know a few people like that, yeah.
Yeah, man, that's what you do.
Yeah, you get married, have kids.
Yeah.
Things.
Yeah.
We just got a puppy.
You just got a puppy.
Just got a puppy.
When we met, this is what I love. When you and I met, was it just like, 3 months ago?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
So we met in Scottsdale, and for like 3 days, we were hanging out every night. And I knew so much about your puppy because you had pictures and all this stuff. And then, like on the fourth night, he's like, "Yeah, my kid." I'm like, "What? You have children?"
Yep. I know. I was just,
it was amazing. No, I get it. We're dog
kids
people.
Have been around, and I love this dog.
Right.
He's brand new.
It's amazing.
I just missed him a lot.
Yeah,
he's growing so fast.
I know. It's like with puppies, it's quick.
Yeah, they grow really fast.
Yeah.
And he's, not, he's just a puppy. I love the dog, but he's still a puppy. And so when I'm gone, it's like a whole nother toddler. Like we have a 2-year-old, and it adds like a toddler to my wife's responsibilities, but I love him. I love coming home to him.
That's awesome, man. Dude, my dog is not well behaved at all. We love her to death. But this probably just has to do with puppy raising. Like it's probably our fault, I'm sure, because Caesar Milan, she'd be fine for it. But she's a terrier.
Okay.
So she barks at everything all of a sudden.
Really? Just any
sound. Any sound. If we're out, no problem. If we're outside, if we're taking her places, no problem. Doesn't bark at people when we're in the car. When we're at home, any sound, she just loses it. How do you fix that?
I have no idea.
No.
We send our dog outside and we yell quiet.
That's great.
That's our command.
That's quiet.
Our groomer told me to grab him by the chin and look in his eyes.
Okay.
And get really firm with him and don't let him turn his head away. And that's how you display your dominance over him.
I feel like to do that, you have to talk like Antonio Banderas. Right?
Yes. Look, Winston. His name's Winston.
Look into my eyes, Winston. How can I help you, Winston?
It's amazing. Hey, let's talk about some entertainment.
Okay. Yeah, that's what your show's about, right? That's what we're here for.
Dude, I'm having a freaking blast, dude.
Me too. I've not. This is somewhat. I listen to a lot of podcasts, but this is weird. I've never been on one, and it's great to just have a conversation.
It's fun, right?
But it's a little different than things I do. So it's awesome.
Oh man, I love it. It's like having a conversation with a buddy, but with microphones.
Exactly.
And it is kind of fun because we have these headphones on, so you can hear everything real good.
Exactly. You can hear all the low sultry tones.
Yeah. Let's just talk like this.
Yeah.
So, Joey,
welcome.
Tell me what it's like when the first snow falls in Colorado.
Well, it's very quiet. It's a soft dusting initially, and then it builds.
I don't know why I'm so giggly, man. It's that Beat Burger, I swear.
It is.
It's probably
it
the
must
Beat Burger.
be.
Yeah. Dude, I will have told people this already in the intro.
Okay.
But you are a filmmaker. You created a documentary, and it is beautifully done.
Thanks, man.
And it is, I mean, it was one of those things where you never know. When you meet somebody and you make friends with someone, and then they're like, hey, here's a project I did. You never know.
Totally.
No, you know, you never know. Like, we've all had that moment where someone's like, hey, come to my kid's talent show. They're great. And then you're like, whoa, when does this end?
Totally. Yeah.
And so not to say, I didn't think that when you said you made this.
Oh no,
doc,
I'm sure you did.
But I
and
didn't.
That's fine.
But I didn't know. I'm just saying I had no idea what to expect. I was freaking blown away with how well done and just how beautiful you told the story, and it's fantastic.
Thanks so much, man. That means a lot. I definitely. That was my goal, like going in. I put a ton of time into it, and it was like a 6-year project. And initially, when I started it, it's about a rare disease. This rare disease called Hunter syndrome that runs in my family, and it's been in our family for a few generations now. And I just wanted to. I was starting to get into film and video stuff and doing more of that with work and whatnot, and really kind of liking it. And I was like, man, if I could do this right, I feel like, make a positive impact on the Hunter syndrome community, hopefully, and just create more awareness and, hopefully add to the potential for a cure with maybe funding because of that awareness. But I have to, because this is a rare disease, this was my thought process, because this is a rare disease, no one knows about it. It's not cancer. It's not anything else that, people hear about all the time. I felt like it really needed to I just needed to do it well. I needed it to look. My thought was make it beautiful, and people will want to stay engaged in it, you know, instead of just writing it off after the first little bit, you know. So I really appreciate you saying that, man, because that's exactly what I set out to do.
And that's exactly how it landed for me. I mean, it was very educational for me. I didn't know anything until we talked a couple months back. I had never heard of Hunter syndrome and didn't realize. I mean, we're talking about 2,000 people.
Yeah. I mean,
that are
estimated around 2,000 people, you know, worldwide. They say around maybe 500 in the U.S. or so, but it's very rare. Yeah.
And the fact that it's so rare and it's affected your family so significantly. I mean, you've had 2 cousins.
Right. And that was the inspiration behind it all. I have a cousin, Jordan, who lives in Phoenix. He's my age, and he, he's doing all right. He actually has this really kind of intense surgery coming up. You know, there's always these things that all these, with Hunter syndrome, it's all males, you know, and so all these boys that they have to go through all these surgeries and these procedures all the time. You see it in the film, but so he's got that coming up, and you know, kind of growing up with him. He moved away, you know, when we were a little younger, but still, getting to get-togethers and everything, and traveling would see him, and you know, try to stay close. And then my other cousin Tyson, we were really close. You know, he's one of my best friends growing up. He passed away in 2007, and that was. I'd say the biggest motivation in me pursuing something like this. It was just, I wanted to, I mean, first of all, I wanted to learn more about it. I felt like growing up, I grew up with him, you know, but I didn't really know all that much. So I wanted to learn more about it. And then, also just felt like it was important to, you know, tell some stories around this disease that has impacted my family so much.
Right.
So yeah, it's just deeply important to me, and hopefully can be important to that community too.
That's huge, man. We have people who are listening right now who are, I'm sure, sitting there with a thought or an idea or something stirring inside them that they want to do. Especially as an artist and a creative type. Like there's these things that you go like, man, I really wish I could tell this story, or I could communicate this, or I could write this in a song. What was it like for you when you went from concept to I'm actually going to start a process of doing something I've never done before?
Oh man. I mean, I think for most of the time of the project, like I said, it was over a 6-year period that I shot it and edited it. And I think a lot of it was, you know, if I'm being honest, just always like, God, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can make this work the way I want to, right? I mean, I don't know if I'm capturing the stories properly. You know, there's just a lot of self-doubt, I think, that a lot of artists deal with. And for me, it really helped to, I felt like I somewhat had some accountability from the community.
Yeah.
I know that really helped me. But as far as like keeping going, it was hard. And like, I wanted this thing to happen, but I had to make it happen myself. I did a Kickstarter, in the fall of 2012, and raised a decent chunk of money to at least get things going with the filming without having to fund it myself or just do it all by myself. You know, I really wanted to bring at least a shooter with me on every shoot. I wasn't able to do it on everyone, but most of the time it was me and a cameraman. So in order to pay for that, you know, I did this Kickstarter and whatnot. And I think, you know, having that, first of all, that community, I mean, I think there were like 305 people ish that donated. Wow. Having them to be accountable to, I think really helped. And, and then, you know, myself and my family, like, it was hard to, there was times when I definitely like just didn't think I was going to finish. I was like, it's too much. I got a wife and kids, and I work and travel for work and everything. But, in the end knew that it would be worth it. I just needed to like do it. I just needed to like bite off chunks. I needed to take off some time. Towards the end, I took off a few months from, thankfully I was able to, you know, I have a very supportive wife, and, you know, I was able to take off a few months and actually finish the edit and everything. And, you know, so I don't know. It was just that important to me, you know, and I just hope to be able to, you know, continue to do things like that, you know, because it's just very fulfilling. And, you know, we were talking earlier about human connection and just how much it can fuel you. And that's a lot of what this project was.
Right. Oh, yeah. You're following the story of several different families. So I'm sure there was times where you'd get a call and be like, hey, this is coming up. If you want to be there when it happens. Yeah. You got to get on a plane or, you know. Yeah.
Well, and I would try to plan things out, you know, and sometimes it wouldn't work out. And I have a story about when I tried to shoot with the drug company that makes the drug that all these boys get.
Yeah.
Towards the beginning, right? You know, soon after the Kickstarter finished, I tried to set up a shoot with them, and I had it all set up. And actually, one of the guys in the film, Simon, he lived somewhat near the drug company, which was they're based in Boston. He lived in Toronto, and I set up this whole thing where he was going to like go tour their you know, drug manufacturing like facility. We were going to get an interview with the top, I think their top geneticist it was. And I sent in all the questions. Their legal team like okayed everything. We had flights booked. Simon was going to go there with his mom. I was going to go there with a shooter. Hotels were booked and everything. And a week beforehand, the drug company like slowly just pulled the rug out completely.
Really?
Yeah. They contacted me about 7 days before and were like, you know, you can't do an interview. You can shoot, you know, Simon touring the facility, or you can't do the interview anymore. And I was like, oh
man,
that's really shitty.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, we still have everything booked. I'll shoot him touring the facility. We'll work it out. And then the next day they were like, you can only shoot the exterior.
What?
So I was like, I had to cancel. Like I couldn't do anything. And so, I mean, that was like, it was just, it was really unfortunate, but I had to roll with it, you know?
Right.
And I couldn't do anything about it. So, I mean, that was just kind of a microcosm of, I guess, what you deal with and go through in that process.
It's watching the documentary. I mean, I already had my own thoughts and opinions on drug companies, but then it's hard to see. You're literally seeing these families like beg and plead for permission to do something that could possibly save their child.
Beg and plead with the drug company. I know. It was very revealing, you know, of that whole system to me. And it's a system and it's a business. Yeah. And, you know, I don't think it's true of all people at all these drug companies, but this one specifically, it's extremely, it seems pretty inhumane the way they're going about their business. And specifically with this case. And so, but you know what? It's also a really big, there's this whole juxtaposition of it too, where my cousin, I don't think he would be, you know, who knows if he would still be around without the drug they make.
Right.
So it's really tough to kind of reconcile all those things in your mind, but, yeah, I don't know. It's, it's interesting.
Were you prepared for I mean, we were talking so much about connection and like the human aspect of things.
Yeah.
I mean, you had gone through stuff with your family in this syndrome, but like, were you prepared for the emotional side of what it was like to be with these families? I mean, literally capturing moments where they were either victories or failures or.
Man, that's a good question. I don't think I could have prepared for that, to be honest. I feel like I somewhat was in the beginning because I had lost my cousin somewhat recently. You know, I started the project about 4 years after he died. so I feel like I was able to, I guess relate, but when you're interviewing somebody and, speaking to them about these very, I guess, intimate and emotionally taxing and draining and just really tough stuff, I don't know if you can prepare yourself for that. I think you just have to know that stuff's going to happen and hope that you can, for me, that's hope that you can handle it in the moment and handle it in a decent enough way to where you can still tell the story, do the story's justice, so that was my approach in the beginning for sure. And then, I think I told you, a few years in to the project, I lost my son. He was 1, his name was Elliot. And, that added this whole other like facet to the human connection part of the project. After that, well, first of all, I just kind of didn't touch it for like at least a year. I didn't touch the project after that. That was one of those times, the biggest time when I was like, man, I just don't think I can finish this. It was too much.
And Elliot's situation was completely unrelated to this.
Yeah.
For people who are listening.
Right. It was, he died in his sleep a couple days after his first birthday. And, he was our third, kid, and we had one more since and whatnot, but it was just losing a child is everything everyone says it is, and shouldn't be. It's the worst thing that you could, the worst thing I've gone through, and still going through, and as a family we are, I think, but with losing him, once I did take the project back up, it added a whole nother, piece to the even more in-depth personal bit to this that I, didn't anticipate, obviously.
Yeah.
And it became even more, I think it became a lot harder to anticipate those moments in interviews and in situations and filming. It was just a lot more emotional for me. I remember, doing interviews. I remember specifically doing the last interview I did with Jamie, which is one of the moms in the film. She's Jack's mom, and she was talking to me about just the grief and everything surrounding having a boy with this rare disease that's progressing and is heading, towards this vegetative state and whatnot. And we had such a good conversation, that interview. And I feel like I was so much more emotional than she even was. I was crying, and I was sharing things about my experience with Elliot, and it just, I don't know, that human connection piece that we talked about it became that much more relevant and important to the process, I guess, if you want to call it a process. It just, it was a big piece of it, and even relating, to the families too. And that even, they're still friends of mine, and that brought us, that's just one of those things. They were very much there from a distance. We don't live in the same state, but they were there for me a lot. Going through that stuff.
It's so encouraging to hear that through the midst of like personal things going on and amidst loss, that you would still do the work to get this story out there. And I'm incredibly grateful that you did it, man.
Thanks, man.
Could have walked away. Everyone would have understood. And yet, having watched the film, I can't imagine this story not being told the way you told it. What was it like when it was finally done and you showed this project to somebody for the first time? What was that moment like? Did you do a screening, or was this just family and friends, or was it with some of the families?
Yeah. So we did, I had showed it to a bunch of people, and when I was kind of nearing the end, trying to just collaborating with friends and editors, and my wife, and she's a very good critic, and some good friends that I trust their opinions on and everything. So I just kind of showed it to people. But once it was really finished, and I'd say the first time that I really showed it, and it was color corrected and everything like that, was actually the crew screening. I did it at my house, and one of my buddies that helped me shoot it up in the Pacific Northwest, the shoots in Vancouver, like he flew in, and everybody that could came that helped with it, which, by the way, just a side note, like this essentially was a film made, for the most part, a film made with friends. And I just have some extremely talented, good friends that, some of them knew Tyson, my cousin who passed away, and they were so amazing to like give their time and their talents to this project, for the sake of the goal of it, raising awareness and whatnot. So I gotta give it, shout out to all of them, because it was so huge. But anyways, back in March of this year, I had them, as many of them over as could come, and we watched it in my basement, and man, that was actually so. One of my buddies that was there described it as cathartic, and it was, because this process that kind of took a big emotional toll on definitely me, and I think anytime they worked on it, it was tough, and just reflective of a lot of the of some of life's struggles and things, and revealing of things of families with special needs kids and whatnot, and just the human part of it is so revealing of all of that I think it deeply affected some of them too. And showing it that night and talking about it afterwards and whatnot was, man, it was a relief, but more than anything, I don't know, I was just really grateful, I guess. Seems like maybe that's trite, but I really was like, man, that's a good question, because it's really hard for me to even describe. But I don't know. It was just like all these years of work, and other people's work and time and blood, sweat, and tears that came out into this thing that I'm truly like proud of. Yeah. And there were years in there when I was like, I don't think I'm going to finish, and it's just all the footage I'm getting isn't going to work together. And, it's all that self-doubt, and it finally did come together. And I was like, wow, I'm grateful that I'm, first of all, able to do something like this, privileged enough to have these resources, these friends, the Kickstarter, even, the support. And then I'm grateful that I can, shed light on this topic that just means a lot to me. So I don't know. Those were, it was a bunch of emotions, but yeah.
What was it like in those moments when you describe saying, you say that like you didn't know if the shots were going to work, or you were going to just call it quit? Like, what kept you going in those moments? Or what did you, was it a friend? Was it you just finally walking away and then coming back because you're like, it's got to get done? What kept you going when you felt, because we all hit that as artists and entertainers. There's those moments where you're like, you start off with a project that you're so passionate about and you love it, and then even you're writing a song, and then you're like, this song is awful, it's useless, and then you come back and it becomes something different,
Right.
But how did you keep yourself in the process when?
Well, I can say, kind of breaking it out into pieces. I could say the first big like hurdle was just organizing all the footage and getting it to a place where it was, we shot audio. It was a lot of, cheap rigs and stuff, and DSLR cameras and whatnot. So I'm shooting audio on separate things. So I have to sync it, and then we got to log it and all that. And I'm doing it all myself, because it's a passion project. So just breaking it out into that kind of stuff, I took a 6-day trip to Seattle because my best friend lives in Seattle, and he had there was this space up there. Man, it wasn't even. I don't even think it was his house at the time. It wasn't, but he had an old roommate that had this space that I could use. I went up there for 6 days, and I just like organized footage. That's all I did for all the 6 days. I'd sleep on the floor. And anyways, so that was one of the first hurdles. And in that, to kind of keep going, like keep motivated, I was like, okay, well, if I can at least get the footage organized, and then it would, for a while, it was
just so many SD cards and
exactly.
Where's the audio for this clip?
It's not quite that chaotic, but I'd have it all on multiple hard drives, but the process, of going through it all and syncing it and stuff. So that was one of the first big hurdles, and kind of how I got through it. I was like, I just got to get, I have a wife and kids and stuff, and it's really hard to break away to just do this in small chunks. So I realized I needed big chunks. So I did that. I took another trip to Southern Colorado with a filmmaking buddy, for a few days, did some more of that. I'm trying to think what else, and then I started trying to bite off chunks at home. And it wasn't, this was towards the end of the project. So this was, like spring of 2017. And for me, it actually was creating a lot of anxiety. First of all, because I think I really knew that these stories needed to get out there.
Right.
And I had all this footage for like 4 years.
Yeah.
And it was giving me, I felt like I had almost a duty, I guess, to do this, like a responsibility to finish it. And so that was one of the biggest things that drove me. And then not having enough time to do it. Right. I was honestly, I have a great therapist. And I was
talk it out, buddy.
And she, towards the fall of last year or the end of the summer,
right.
I was having a really hard time with this anxiety, and I think she realized maybe that it was a lot around this.
Yeah.
And actually, my wife and I went in together to her, and she helped me. She helped explain to me and my wife that I needed to take some time off to finish this. She was
wow.
Phenomenal.
I can't. It wasn't her. She wasn't saying like you need to give this project up. She was like you need to complete it.
Yeah, she has been amazing. By the way, if you can find yourself a good therapist, anyone out there, good. It really helps. Anyways, so that was huge. And after that, I took off. My wife was thankfully like in support of that and on board, and I basically turned down. I freelance a lot, mainly, especially at that time I was freelancing, and I took off a few months from taking jobs. I just kind of said no for a little while, hoping that people would still hire me after it was done. And because that's a
scary thing too, man. In this business, it's out of sight, out of mind. You kind of got to let people move on, or they find new people to cover what you were doing. And
it's a necessity. I mean, people are going to, but honestly, thankfully, the people I work for the most part, all of them, I have really good relationships. Well, I have good relationships with them, and they were so understanding.
So cool, man.
And I was able to kind of just tell them like, look, I really need to finish this. And so I understand that not everyone is in that position and has that, but for me, that's kind of how it went. And again, I'm grateful.
Jeez, man, you did it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I finished it. It was crazy. I kind of gave myself a deadline too.
Yeah.
That was one of the last things. I was like, I'm going to submit it to this film festival.
Yeah.
So I have to have it done by then.
That's great.
I did, I got a month extension actually, but
but you still did it, man.
Yeah.
So what is next for the film or for you with?
Yeah. So I screened it for the first public screening in Denver in September. And now it's going to screen in Nashville next week, actually.
That's great.
And then I'm trying to plan some more in the spring. I think, we're going into holidays here and stuff. So everything kind of slows down, but come, into February and whatnot, we're going to do some more screenings. And I'm working on finding a home for it.
Yeah.
I have some irons in the fire, I guess you could say, with that. But nothing is quite panned out yet. But I really am trying to, I'd love to, accomplish the purpose of spreading more awareness. People say that and it can be taken so many different ways, but it's really, I've seen firsthand what awareness can do for diseases like this,
right?
Especially Hunter syndrome. So it's important. So if I would love to get it on a streaming platform or something like that to where anyone can see it. So that's great, man. That's the goal. And we'll see if that can happen, hopefully in the next little while.
That's freaking awesome, dude. And are you, now that you've done this, man, you're officially a filmmaker now. You did it not
You've
conceptually.
said that a few times now.
Well, because bro,
me.
I'm constantly surrounded in LA by people who have a screenplay that is going to be the greatest thing ever that never gets finished.
Oh yeah.
And you literally went from concept to creation and you did it fantastically.
Thanks so much, man.
So
I think you just, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a very well-known, extremely successful filmmaker, but I do know that I think, I just cut that one out.
Is that like I think, therefore I am, or whatever?
Yes. No, I think that you do have to take the bull by the horns.
Yeah.
For lack of a better analogy, like you have to try to do what you can on your own, and it's gonna probably be really hard.
Yeah.
I don't know. At least that's what I feel. And either way, I think it's worth it. Yep. And I know it's worth it, to be honest, and in so many different ways. Like, so I think you just got to go for it and make your thing however you can do it. And hopefully people will see, that it's good.
That's freaking awesome, man. That's so good. And no matter what aspect of arts or entertainment or business or entrepreneurship you're in, what Joey just shared is freaking phenomenal. And we all need to remember it. You got to just do it sometime. You know what I mean?
You do, man.
Like,
I agree. Yeah. If you don't, you're never going to. No, I just don't see anyone really ever getting a handout. No. No one's going to care about your project as much as you do. Exactly. So you've just got to do it and keep doing it.
That's
and
right.
if you do that, and hopefully someone, like I said, hopefully someone notices. Hopefully you can figure out a way to make it sustainable. But either way, I mean, to be honest, I plan on continuing to make videos or movies and music and whatnot. Yeah. No matter what I do, that it's something that is healing to me and something that I need in my life.
Yes, buddy. Oh man. Yes. It's so good, dude.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, I feel like I've never said this, I don't think, but I feel like I need to say this. If somebody's listening right now who has the ability or an idea or knows somebody who can get this thing to find a home, how would they get a hold of you? Should I have them reach out to me and then I'll make the connection, or what's the best way?
They could do that. There's a website that has, I've got a contact form on there actually. So boyswithbiggerhearts.org.
Awesome.
That's the name of the film. I don't even know. Did we say that?
We didn't say that yet. No.
Boys with Bigger Hearts is the name of the film. Yeah. And if you go there, you can actually, there's a couple teaser clips that I've got on the homepage, and then you can see pictures of the crew and, my inspiration behind it. My cousins, I've got a picture of me and them up there and stuff. And send me an email on that contact form, boyswithbiggerhearts.org.
Awesome. If you guys are listening right now, click on the show notes there, and we'll have a link that'll take you directly to the site. You can check out more about the film. But thank you, man. Thanks for taking the time to do this. And honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for taking the time to create this, because it's going to make a difference.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for having me. This was fun.
What a great conversation. Every time we sit down to record with someone, I'm blown away. I'm just blown away by compassion. And that is my breaking point for today. I'm blown away by the compassion that Joey has. And I know that he doesn't want to be made out to be a hero. But the amazing thing is heroic deeds are just people who don't take pity on others, but they have compassion. And there's a huge difference. Taking pity is easy. It's observational. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't interfere with your schedule. Taking pity is seeing someone else who's going through something and going, man, that's awful. I feel bad for them. But that doesn't impact anyone. That doesn't make any change in the world. Compassion is the opposite. It's seeing an issue, seeing a need, and then raising your hand and saying, I want to be part of the solution. And that's my takeaway from this week. That's my breaking point is what can we do in our everyday lives with our art, with our creativity? What's something you can do that's going to make a difference for someone else? How can you show compassion? In an industry that is often overrun with people who are narcissistic and self-promoting, it is a joy to meet people like Joey who just say, you know what, it's not me first. It's about trying to help other people. So that's my challenge this week. What can I do? What can I do personally to make a difference for someone else? And how can we use the gifts we've been given and the talents that we have and the passion we have for our art or our creativity to make a difference in the world? So let's go out, let's do that. And if you had a moment this week where you were able to do that, I'd love to hear about it. If there was something you were able to do that you felt like, oh, this is making a difference, or if there's something you found that is a practical way to help others while pushing forward in your own career, let us know. Give us a call at the break line, 323-524-7456. Again, 323-524-7456. Leave us a message. Let us know what your takeaway is. What did you love about this episode? And maybe what challenged you? What are you going to do moving forward? All right, folks, let's have a great week. We'll see you soon.